I remember the day of the march because those days often, because 1963 was an important year in the Black community, we all were glued to our little black and white TV set. To see a sea of Black people was, sort of amazing because you didn't see that on television. And of course, Martin Luther King had become our hero. We sat sort of glued for hours, watching. And my mother is from the Baptist tradition. So at points in time, she would be hollering and screaming in the tradition of the Baptist church. It's a speech of great promise, foretelling a positive future, and he said that he had seen the promised land and that it was time that all races would be coming together. That's all powerful, all full of promise. A lot of what the 60s was the promise of what America could be, that it was going to actually actualize its commitment and its promise and its dream, and that I, as a 9-year-old, was going to be part of that. A lot of the movement was really quite organic, aided by television. And I think the backstory and the context, I think that's the only way that we can really be true to history, is understanding all of that. Because otherwise, what we view as the March on Washington will become lore and maybe not as historically accurate. That year is that I always say that my project really took root. And I say that because in my class, we only studied 2 things about Black people. There was George Washington Carver, and he had done all these things with peanuts. And we also talked about slaves. So my teacher that year had asked us to go and talk about our family backgrounds. And I remember that day because everybody was really raising their hands. I'm part German, I'm part French, I'm part Dutch, whatever. We had studied slavery, so what was I said? I was African or Negro, I was Indian, and I said French because I didn't want to be left out. And I felt about this high, and I felt that the teacher knew I had lied about the French. My father had been stationed in France during the war. That feeling of not knowing, not having a background, everybody wants to be part of something. My project is to create the largest archive of African Americans that has existed. There's so much context and so many rich stories, and so a lot of my project is really trying to unleash those stories, to record them before people pass away, so we have the bridge between what happened from the time of the enslaved past to Reconstruction, which we still really don't know a lot about. In many ways, I feel that we've let Martin Luther King down, my generation. And I think it's going to be up to us who are beneficiaries of people who died and fought and struggled, for us to move into an integrated society, to make that society truly integrated and available to the least of us.